Yes. Hi and hello everyone. I hope so. All of you are doing well. So welcome to another session of the master series for grade 9 जहाँ पे हम next chapter जो है revise करने जा रहे हैं which is coordinate geometry. So if you're someone who is new to this session and doesn't know exactly कि ये series क्या है, so we have this master series for class 9 and class 10 जहाँ पे हम NCERT के concepts को cover कर रहे हैं. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, सबसे पहले हम कॉन्सेप्ट्स देखेंगे इन एक्सरसाइज भी हम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. बट फॉर ग्रेड 9 द सिलेबस इज फिनिश्ड, सो दैट इज वाई वी आर हैविंग दीज रैपिड रिविजन सेशंस. एंड पिछले 2 वीक्स में हमने 2 चैप्टर्स कवर कर लिया, नंबर सिस्टम्स एंड पॉलिनोमियल्स. सो फॉर दिस सेशन वी आर गोइंग टू एम एट कोऑर्डिनेट ज्योमेट्री. So if you want to attend these sessions live, you can join every Monday at 7 p.m. And if you want to join the grade 10 ka sessions, it's every Friday at 7 p.m. And also, if you want to check out the previous sessions jo ho chuke hain, so we have had around 24 to 25 sessions as of now. So wo bhi aap check kar sakte hain. You can check out the CUET Career Launcher ka channel where you will find separate playlist. So once you will find the playlist, आपको सारे videos दिख जाएंगे and they are hardly about 25 to 30 minutes. So you can definitely check them out and summarize all your concepts. So I hope so I'm audible and visible to all of you. If yes, then we are good to go. Am I audible to all of you? Yes. So like I said, let's first of all summarize जो भी concepts या topics है हमारे पास coordinate geometry में. So when we say coordinate geometry, what is it exactly? So coordinate geometry is what? We are dealing with coordinates, right? And हम एक Cartesian plane में deal कर रहे हैं. Now what do we mean by Cartesian plane? Cartesian plane is like a sheet of paper. जैसे मेरे पास एक पेपर है, right? It's like a sheet of paper, but over it we are trying to denote something. Now what is it? Coordinates. So for instance, let us try to draw. This is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. Let me just redraw. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. So इसमें क्या है कि this is my Cartesian plane consisting of the x-axis and y-axis. Now what are the important concepts here? So the first thing is x-axis is also called as what? Abscissa. So अगर question में आपको ये word दिखता है, it simply means we are talking about the x-axis, right? And y-axis is also called as the ordinate. Now what else? किसी भी point को अगर मुझे इस Cartesian plane में represent करना है, if I want to represent any point on this Cartesian plane, we do it via a ordered pair. ठीक है ना? What is ordered pair? Any ordered pair looks like x, y, जिसमें ये set and defined होता है कि सबसे पहले तो हम x की value present करेंगे and y की value उसके बाद हम represent करेंगे. So x, y is any point which is also called as coordinate and हम कहीं पे भी ऐसे represent कर सकते हैं. Now as an example, let's see if this is my 1 and this is my 2. So this particular point जो इन दोनों के intersection से बन रहा है, it will be represented as 1, 2. Like I said, I'm following the order. First of all, I'm writing the x-axis, basically the abscissa का point, and then I'm representing the ordinate. Now another thing that you must understand is after dividing the Cartesian plane, can you observe 4 हिस्से, or I can also say the same कि Cartesian plane is divided into 4 parts. They are called as quadrants. Quadrant means dividing a plane into 4 parts. Now the first one is this one. This is called as the first quadrant. ये हमारा second quadrant है, ये हमारा third quadrant है, and ये हमारा fourth quadrant है. Simple, right? But what do we need to observe is कोई भी point, if it lies in my first quadrant, can you guys observe that in the first quadrant x-axis is positive? So I'll say कोई भी x का point positive होगा and y का भी positive होगा. We are dealing with the positive values of x, positive values of y. Now what about the second quadrant? In second quadrant, the value of x is negative but the value of y is positive. What about the third quadrant? I am expecting कि आप लोग भी chat section में लिखोगे so that I can understand कि आपको भी समझ आ रहा है. Now in the third quadrant, x is negative and y is also negative. तो कोई भी point अगर मेरे पास third quadrant में होगा वो होगा negative comma negative. Example ले लेते हैं. For instance, this is -1 and this is somewhere -5. अगर मैंने इन दोनों से एक point बनाया, this will be represented as -1 comma -5, right? दोनों negative है. In the fourth quadrant, you will say कि x axis तो positive है but y axis negative है. So it means this is the orientation, या ये कह सकते हैं कि just by looking at the quadrants, I can say कि क्या part x की value positive भी हो सकती है, negative हो सकती है, या y मेरा positive हो सकता है, negative हो सकता है. Now another thing is, क्या point है वो where my x axis and y axis intersect, उसको हम कहते हैं origin, right? So origin is the point where both the axes intersect. Now what else? अब अगर कोई भी पॉइंट एक्स एक्सिस पे लाई करता है, इफ दिस इज माय पॉइंट ए, इट लाइज ऑन एक्स एक्सिस, इट विल लुक समथिंग लाइक x, 0. द रीजन इज, कोई भी पॉइंट अगर एक्स एक्सिस पे लाई करता है, इट मींस द y कोऑर्डिनेट इज ऑटोमेटिकली इक्वल टू 0. नाउ बाय चांस y एक्सिस पे लाई करता है, सो इट मींस द कोऑर्डिनेट विल लुक समथिंग लाइक 0, y, बिकॉज any point on my y-axis means my x coordinate is 0, right? I hope so this point is clear to all of you, and these are the basic concepts that you must remember so that we can start with the set of questions. So like I said, we are aiming to solve 20 questions as per this session. So take your registers and start doing these questions with me. Starting off with question number 1, we have a point which is -3, 5. It lies in what quadrant? So simply, if I'll say this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis, -3 means somewhere over here, this is my -3 and this is my 5. So ये किस quadrant में lie कर रहा है? Second quadrant. So second quadrant, which is option B, will be correct for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Signs of the abscissa and ordinate. Abscissa means x-axis and ordinate means y. अब सेकेंड क्वाड्रेंट में क्या साइन होता है? सो यू कैन जस्ट रफली ड्रॉ एंड सी. सेकेंड क्वाड्रेंट में माई एक्स इज नेगेटिव बट माई वाई इज पॉजिटिव. सो विच ऑप्शन इज करेक्ट? ऑप्शन सी इज गोइंग टू बी करेक्ट फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन, राइट? नाउ क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. द एब्सिसा ऑफ ऑल पॉइंट्स ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस. एब्सिसा मीन्स मुझसे पूछ रहा है कि एक्स की क्या वैल्यूज हो सकती हैं इफ देयर इज एनी पॉइंट ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस. सो फॉर इंस्टेंस, पॉइंट तो कहीं भी हो सकता है, राइट? इट कैन बी ए, इट कैन बी समवेयर ओवर हियर बी, इट कैन बी सी, इट कैन बी डी. नाउ व्हाट आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड इज देयर आर इनफाइनाइट पॉइंट्स ऑन अ गिवन स्ट्रेट लाइन. तो कोई भी नंबर हो सकता है. द रीजन इज, अगर मैं इन पॉइंट्स को रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहूं, इट विल बी ऑफ व्हाट? x, 0, राइट? y कोऑर्डिनेट, y पॉइंट इज गोइंग टू बी 0. सो x कैन बी एनी नंबर, राइट? सो ऑप्शन डी इज गोइंग टू बी द करेक्ट वन. Now let's move on to the next question, which is question number 4. Question number 4 says that we have a set of 4 points and मुझे बताना है कि where do they lie exactly. So let's again make a rough diagram. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. 1, -1. So 1 यहाँ पे है, -1 यहाँ पे है. So for instance, this point A is my 1, -1. 2, -2. Okay, so somewhere over here यहाँ पे 2 है, -2 यहाँ पे है. So this is going to be point B, which is, let me just rewrite, point B, which is 2, -2. Next point is 4, -5. 4 is somewhere over here and -5 by chance यहाँ पे है, तो यहाँ पे मेरा point हो जाएगा C, which is 4, -5. Next one is -3, -4. So -3 तो होना चाहिए, it should be present on the negative x-axis, and -4 अगर ये है, so this is going to be point D, -3, -4. But the question is कि ये सारे points, all these points lie in which quadrant? See, the problem is D is lying in the third quadrant, but A, B, C lie in the fourth quadrant, so all of them are not lying in the same quadrant. So we will say they do not lie in the same quadrant, But if they are mentioning कि पहले के 3 points ही दिया होता by chance, then you would have said that all of them lie in the fourth quadrant, right? And also, just a reminder that all of these questions are picked from NCERT Exemplar क्योंकि हमने NCERT खत्म कर ली है. So the next set of questions we are practicing from NCERT Exemplar. Now question number 5. If the perpendicular distance of a point P from the x-axis is 5 units. So for instance, this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. So ये कह रहा है कि there is a point P and we are looking at the perpendicular distance from the x-axis. Now the issue is कि कोई point for instance यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. It means it can be present on the positive x-axis, it can be present on the negative x-axis. Now if the distance from that point is 5 units for instance, तो वो यहाँ पे से भी हो सकता है, यहाँ से भी हो सकता है, right? And what is it? The foot of the perpendicular lies on the negative direction of the x-axis. ठीक है, so now it confirms कि ठीक है, it is present on the negative direction of the x-axis. Now एक और possibility क्या है? Only the distance is mentioned. So can I say कि ये भी possibility हो सकती है, perpendicular distance can be taken other way around also. तो यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. Now the corresponding y coordinate क्या होगा? It is 0,5 or 0,-5, but I'm only focused on the y coordinate. So it is basically 5 or -5. So option D will be the correct one for this particular question. I hope so it's making sense कि हम कैसे proceed on कर रहे हैं. We are having a set of doubts या questions, but by reading on to the next statement, it clears out कि हम कहाँ पे exactly हैं. Now let's move on to the next question, which is question number 6. In the figure 3.1, coordinates of point P, okay, so this is the point P that you can see here, are. If you will see, इसके corresponding अगर मैं straight line draw करूँ, -2 is the x coordinate and y is equal to 4 is the y coordinate. So simply put them down in the ordered pair ka form. So -2, 4, which is option number B, is going to be the correct answer. Now let's move on to the next question, which is question number 7. In figure 3.2, the point identified by the coordinate. So we have -5, 3. So if you will see, -5 is somewhat over here. Just give me a second. You guys write your answers in the meantime. Yes. So -5 यहाँ पे है. And what about the next y coordinate? Y coordinate is 3. तो अगर मैं इन दोनों को join कर लेती हूँ, you can easily say या C, option C is correct, which is point number L. Now question number 8. Question number 8 is the point which lies on the y-axis. So let us draw a rough diagram. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. So there is a point which lies on the y-axis and has a distance of 5 units in the negative direction of y-axis. Now carefully think and observe कि क्या figure बन सकती है इसमें. Draw it from your side. Take a second, take a pause and try this out. So if there is a point which lies on the y-axis and has a distance of 5 units in the negative direction. So for instance, if this is 5 units ka distance, so I'll stop right over here and the corresponding point is 0, -5. Can you guys observe this? So C correct hai is hisab se. So C is the correct answer for this particular question. Now I'll show the next question. You guys let me know कि क्या answer होगा, which is question number 9. Question number 9 says that the perpendicular distance of the point P from the y-axis. So let me just draw it again. So this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. If this is a point, for instance, यहाँ पे 3 है and यहाँ पे 4 है, तो यहाँ पे कोई point होगा, which is P is 3, 4. Now the perpendicular distance from the y-axis, so this is going to be the distance. तो मुझे ये डिस्टेंस बताना है, विच इज नथिंग बट 3 यूनिट्स. कैन यू गाइस ऑब्जर्व? 3 यूनिट्स का गैप है. So I can simply say that the perpendicular distance from the y-axis is nothing but my x coordinate, which is 3. So option number A is correct. Now question number 10. Write whether the following statements are true or false, and we need to justify. Point 3 comma 0 lies in the first quadrant. Now if you will observe, this is the explanation for point 1. If this is my x-axis and y-axis, 3,0 सपोज ए पॉइंट ए है तो यहाँ पे लाई कर रहा है. नाउ इट्स लाइंग ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस, सो आई कैन नॉट से दैट इट्स इन द फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट. हम ये कह सकते हैं दैट इट इज अ पॉइंट विच इज लाइंग ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस, बट saying that it lies in the first quadrant is false, right? Now point number 2. Point number 2 says that 1 comma minus 1 and minus 1 comma 1 lie in the same quadrant. So this is my x axis and this is my y axis. 1 comma minus 1, for instance, this is my point A, जो है 1 comma minus 1, and the other one is minus 1 comma 1. This is my point B, which is minus 1 comma 1. Now if you can observe, point A तो lie कर रहा है fourth quadrant में, and point B lie कर रहा है second quadrant में. So this is a false statement to say that it lies in the same quadrant. Now the next part 3 is the coordinates of a point whose ordinate क्या होता है? Y coordinate. So this value is equal to -1/2. Abscissa कहता है, which is the x coordinate, it says it is equal to 1. Now अगर if I am writing this in the form of an ordered pair, it has to be 1 comma -1/2. But ये क्या कह रहा है? -1/2 comma 1, which is again false. Now the next point is point number 4. A point, let's do it in the next slide. A point that lies on the y-axis at a distance of 2 units from the x-axis, its coordinates are 2, 0. So let's have a rough diagram here just to understand and visualize कि if there is a point which lies on the y-axis and x-axis से 2 units की दूरी पे है. Now think carefully कि वो कैसा होगा दिखने में. मे बी यहाँ से भी 2 यूनिट्स कंसिडर कर सकते हैं डिस्टेंस. इफ आई एम अगेन फोकसिंग ऑन द ओरिजिन, नेगेटिव डायरेक्शन ऑफ वाई एक्सिस से भी 2 यूनिट्स आई कैन कंसिडर. सो व्हाट आर द पॉसिबिलिटी इज वन ऑफ द पॉइंट कैन बी 0,2 एंड अनदर पॉइंट बी कैन बी 0,-2. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये तो गलत है, 2,0 नहीं है. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, इफ दे आर आस्किंग द 2 points, द पॉसिबिलिटी इज 0,2 and 0,-2. So again, this is a false statement. Now fifth one is -1,7 is a point which lies in the second quadrant. So इसी में check कर लेते हैं एक बार. -1 is here and 7 by chance यहाँ पे है. So if I am looking out for this point, which is point C ले लेते हैं for instance. So this is lying in my second quadrant. So there is only one statement which is true among the 5 statements जो हमने अभी देखा है. Now let's look out for question number 11. They are asking us to write the coordinates of each of the points which is P, Q, R, S, T and O. So P का जल्दी से लिख लेते हैं. P is basically उसका corresponding x coordinate is 1 and y का corresponding value is 1. So P is 1,1. Now what about S? S के corresponding x coordinate is 2 and for y it is still 1. Now what about point T? The corresponding x coordinate is 4 and the corresponding y coordinate is -2. So 4, -2 is going to be the coordinate for point T. Now there is another point Q. यहाँ पे हम देख लेते हैं, ये तो x axis पे ही lie कर रहा है. So there is not going to be any distance with respect to the y coordinate. So -3,0 will be the ordered pair for your point Q. Now the next point finally are, इसके corresponding x coordinate is -2 and y is -3. So the point is going to be -2, -3. So we are done with this question also. Now moving on to question number 12. We need to plot the following points and check whether they are collinear or not. Collinear means अगर ये सारे points, there are 3 points in total, if they lie in a straight line, then we can say कि हाँ they are collinear to each other. So I'll do it for 2 parts. आप third point के लिए check करोगे, third part के लिए, and then let me know whether it is collinear or not. So let's start with the first part. So I'm just drawing the axis here. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. 1,3 for instance यहाँ पे है. Then we have -1, -1. So ये तो नीचे आ गया. Now what about the next point? -2, -3. So -2, so this is my 1, 2 and 3. If I am able to join, it seems like that yes, इससे मैं एक line बना पा रही हूँ, right? Or yes. So if you can see, can I pass any line which is passing through it? Yes or no? You guys write it down in the comment section. And जल्दी से second के लिए भी हम देख लेते हैं that how the 3 points look like. So for the second part, we have 1, 1. So this is the first point. 2, -3. So this is going to be 1, 2 and 3. So for instance, यहाँ पे मेरा एक और point है. -1, -2. So -1, -2. This doesn't seem to be in a straight line. ये तो sort of triangle बन सकता है, yes. So you will say no, they are not collinear. Third part जो है आपका homework है. You can just try it right now and let me know in the comments. In the meanwhile, we are going to proceed forward into the next set of questions. Now, the next question is 30. There is a figure 3.6 which says that LM is parallel to y-axis, which we can see absolutely, and the distance between the two is 3 units. So आप देख सकते हैं that the gap between the two is 3 units. What are the coordinates of the point P? Okay, so let's quickly see point P. The corresponding x coordinate is 3 and the corresponding y coordinate is 2. So the point P is nothing but 3, 2. Now what about R? R is a point which is lying on the x-axis, so you will say it is going to be 3, 0. Point Q is what? The corresponding x coordinate is 3 and the corresponding y coordinate is -1. So we are done with the first part. What is the difference between the abscissa of the points L and M? Now remember one thing. If L, M, N, या फिर कोई भी set of points, if they lie on the same line, like in this situation, if you will see, इनके abscissa means x coordinates का difference हमेशा 0 होगा. The reason is, if you will see, L क्या है? L के coordinates में लिख लेते हैं. The corresponding abscissa is 3 and y is 4. तो 3 में से अगर मैं 3 subtract कर दूँ, m क्या है? m is nothing but 3, -3. तो इन दोनों का difference तो 0 आएगा. So if particularly on the set of line, अगर मैं बोल देती हूँ difference क्या abscissa का, so it has to be nothing but 0. Now let's look into the next question. हमने दोनों parts कर लिए. Question number 14. It says that a point lies on the x-axis, and yeah, so this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. There is a point on the x-axis at a distance of 7 units. Now if I'm saying if it is at a distance of 7 units, तो ये भी हो सकता है, or it can be the other way around. It can be in the negative direction of my x-axis also. These are the two possibilities. Now what are the coordinates? So you will say 7, 0, because a point is lying on the x-axis, so it has to be something like 7, 0 or -7, 0. So these are the two possibilities, right? Now they are asking us what will be the coordinates if it lies on the y-axis at a distance of -7 units from the x-axis. Now if you will see, pehla part is done. First half of the question is done. They're asking us ki ab. Now if I'm considering -7 units. Now remember one thing. कभी भी आप distance बताते हो, it can never be negative generally. It has to be positive. So हमें generally यही check करना है 7 units के distance के लिए. But because they are saying -7, so it simply means कि ये हमें सीधा y coordinate बता रहा है. So 7 units का distance तो होगा ही, but this should be 0, -7, or simply you can say that they are trying to refer to the y coordinate in this particular question. So yeah, We are done with this question also. So first part ke liye the answer is 7 comma 0 and minus 7 comma 0. For the second part it has to be 0 comma minus 7. So I hope so there is no doubt. Abhi tak we have done 14 questions. We have 6 more to go. So yeah, moving on to the next question. There are 3 points A, B, C and they are the vertices of a square. So सबसे पहले हम एक rough Cartesian plane बना देते हैं as usual. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. There is a point A. So for instance, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. और यहाँ पे भी कर लेते हैं 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 comma 3 is approximately here. This is my point A. Point B is minus 2 comma 3. So 1, 2, minus 2 comma 3. So this is my point B. And point D is 5 comma minus 4. Oh, sorry. I just put it in the negative direction. 5 comma 3 is over here. So this is going to be the point A. यहाँ पे 5 comma minus 4 पे यहाँ पे आ जाएगा आपका D point. Now the thing is that these are the vertices of a square which is ABCD. So what is the property that you remember of a square? All the sides are equal, right? So A से B में what is the distance? If you will see, what is my point B? It is minus 2 comma 3. Can I say, only referring to the x coordinate, 5 plus 2? 5 units either say, 2 units either say, the total distance is 7 units. Now if this is 7 units, तो D से भी जो point C होगा, it has to be also 7 units away. So what you can say is, yeah, so 7 units के difference में what do you think will be the point C? Quickly answer. Yeah, and what about the y coordinate? So if you will see, it is 4 units from here and 3 units from here, so it is going to be 7 units का difference. So 3 यहाँ से आ गया and यहाँ से 4 आ जाएगा. So it means it is going to be something like minus 2 comma minus 4, and this is the coordinate for your point C. So the only concept is कि जो distance है वो same रहना चाहिए so that the length of the side remains the same and it does not change. Now what about the next question? Yeah, you can also observe one thing कि जो distance है ना वो 7 units ही है, hence confirming that we are dealing with the square. Question number 16 says, write the coordinates of the vertices of a triangle whose length and breadth are 5 and 3 units. So let me just draw a rough x-axis and y-axis. One vertex is at the origin, ठीक है, एक vertex है origin पे. The longer side lies on the x-axis. One of the vertices is in the third quadrant. Now understand one thing, third quadrant में है. So it means my given rectangle should be somewhere in my third quadrant itself because one of the vertices is in the third quadrant. Now the longer side क्या है? 5 units. So it means the longer side is on the x-axis. So if this is 0 comma 0, I need to go back to 5 units. So this is going to be minus 5 comma 0. And if I'm going to extend this down to 3 units, because my breadth is 3, so you will say this is going to be 0 comma minus 3 or minus 5 comma minus 3, and these are the 4 coordinates of my particular rectangle. So what are they asking us? To write the coordinates, and हमने लिख दिया. Now let's move on to the next question, which is question number 17. From the given figure 3.8, we need to mention the points whose abscissa is 0. Abscissa is 0. It simply means the points are lying on the y-axis. So let's check. We can see A is lying on the y-axis. And is there any other point? Point L. So L is also lying on the y-axis. So y-axis पे x coordinate 0 होगा. So accordingly we are getting the answer. Now the next question is, we need to write the points where ordinate is 0. So ordinate 0 means y-axis का जो coordinate है वो 0 होगा. So x has to be, the point has to be lying on the x-axis. So let us see. एक तो I है, and is there any other point on the x-axis? G. So these are the 2 points which are having the ordinate as 0. Now the next is, हमें देखना है वो ordered pairs जहाँ पे x की value -5 है. So if you will see D and H are the 2 points जिनके abscissa की value है -5. Yes, so is there any doubt or query from the set of questions? So now let's move on to question number 18. We need to plot P, Q, S and we need to find the coordinates of the point R. So this is very much similar to the same question जो हमने अभी किया था जिसमें हम square बना रहे थे. So P is 1, 0. So this is my P. Q is 4, 0. So let me just write this down, 1, 0. इन दोनों का gap is 3 units. S is 1, 3. So this is 3 over here. So यहाँ पे S है which is 1, 3. So similarly यहाँ से अगर मैं 3 units add कर देती हूँ, so it has to be 4, 3. So these are the 4 coordinates. So we need to simply find the point R जो कि हो जाएगा 4, 3. And we are done with this question also. I hope so there is no doubt as such इसमें. Question number 19. Find the points of the... Okay. So हमें coordinate बताने उन points का where. Okay. So a point which lies on both x and y axis. ऐसा कौन सा point है? Generally, if you will see, the point of intersection is the only point जो x axis पे भी lie करेगा and y axis पे भी lie करेगा. So it is simply the origin, right? The next question is, whose ordinate is -4? So y is equal to -4 and it lies on the y axis. So x is going to be 0. So 0, -4 is the point. Now the next part is, whose abscissa is 5 and lies on the x-axis. So it means x is going to be 0. So simply 5, 0 is going to be the point. Now question number 20. Without plotting the points, indicate the quadrant in which they lie. So हमें plot नहीं करना है. So it means if abscissa is -3, I'll only consider the negative sign here. Ordinate is positive. Next part में क्या है? Abscissa is negative and ordinate is negative also. So I'm just writing the sign. अभी मैं बता नहीं रही हूँ exactly कि कौन से quadrant में. Abscissa is negative and ordinate is positive. And finally, abscissa is positive and ordinate is positive also. So if you will see, दोनों का positive होता है in the first quadrant. X negative है but Y positive है. It is nothing but the second quadrant. And third के लिए भी second quadrant होगा. दोनों negative, it simply means we are in the third quadrant and this completes the question also. So we have solved around 20 questions based on the same concept, coordinate geometry में जो है. And I hope so this session is helpful for you so that you are able to revise all the concepts. So in the next session, we are going to pick up the next chapter and yeah. If you guys have any doubts or queries, please write it down in the chat section. And thank you so much everyone, those who have attended it live. Feel free to subscribe, like and share with your friends as well. Till then, take care.